All right. We're on YouTube. We're going to Facebook. Everything's good. Am I live? Good. Good. All right. I'm live. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you how to never make a bad trade ever again. No, this is not a joke. I'm going to also encourage you to put my strategies to the test. We're going to go through that and so much more. I am Mark Melnick. This is the Newsbeat Show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newsbeat Show. We have so many exciting things to talk about. I'm going to show you how you can never make a bad trade ever again. I promise you it works. It's not a gimmick, and I'm going to show you it for free. And I'm going to show you that and my algorithmic levels and so much more. But first, it'd only be fair if you offered me something in return. I just simply ask that you hold me and T3 live, harmless, unliable for anything that you might hear, think, see, say on this video. If you do not agree to those terms, kindly exit this video immediately. Thank you so much for agreeing to that. So now, I owe you one. So we're going to talk today about how to never make a bad trade again. This is a very exciting thing. I did an hour-long video, which is quickly going viral. There's over 70 hours of it actually being streamed, and I just did it earlier today. So that's like when, for me, that's like a video going viral. It's a very important video in which I talk about how you can actually judge and put things to the test. But I'm going to show you also how to never make a bad trade again. And I'm just going to sum it up for those who just tune in at night. You want to hear it and you want the answers, and that's fine. I'm with you. Just stay tuned. I'm going to teach you it. So let's define first, what do I mean by a bad trade? A bad trade is simply a trade that you should have not have been in the first place. That is how I define a bad trade. I don't define it as picking the right setup, the right price, getting in, chopping 50 cents of stock move out of it when you could have caught $1 or $1.50. I do not consider that a bad trade. But how many of you traders out there are in a trade and you're literally telling to yourself mentally, usually it's silent. If nobody is around you, you might talk out loud, but you're basically in the trade and you're like, I should not be in this trade. What am I doing? This is so stupid. Okay, this is the last one. How many of you guys and gals say that out there? A lot of you, I know. Back in the day, I have as well. So this is what I mean by a bad trade. I was using an example with the one and done strategy earlier, where we're basically taking a gap up that we call in the Newsbeat live room as a conviction idea in the morning. We just take that one name and we only move down if that one name fails. We only take one name and we move forward with it. So really quickly, what we did was you were looking at the one and done strategy. You were applying it to the names we do in the Newsbeat live room. And if you followed them, I came up with earlier, as you can watch, 4 yeses and 1 no, meaning I felt it, for the 5 times that it gave us an opportunity, it worked 4 and failed once. Ironically, with that fail once, I was even able to like break evenish. I made a little less than $50 on the bad one, and then I moved on. And what it actually does is when you hear people talk about strategies, here is the bottom line. If all these strategies work, and I know my strategies work for me, I also know it works for a large majority of people. That doesn't mean it's going to work or not work for you. And what I'm trying to tell you is no matter what strategy you go to, no matter what guru you're following, no matter what newsletter you're reading, no matter what educator you hear talking, you should be able to put their stuff to the test. There's a lot out there that just go ahead and tell you figure it out. This is what I watch, go figure it out yourself. That's fine as long as you can hit a high hit rate. There was an Ivy League study that said that you are more likely, over exponentially more likely to be depressed and suicidal if you didn't have at least 7 positive or happy moments compared to 7 or 6 or less happy to sad moments. So if you have 7 happy moments and 3 sad, your brain is in good shape. If you do not, your brain is in bad shape. This is why a lot of traders do the same strategies and fail. Nobody really goes into that. It's kind of funny to watch, gurus, myself very included, tout certain strategies like my one and done, and I swear by it, and you hear me say it all the time, and this and this and this and this. But what if we just put my strategy to the test? What if you just went ahead and said, okay, I'm looking at the stock. I gave an example earlier. Again, definitely a must-see video on my prior video. So for example, we took Adobe puts, and there are a lot of traders who had their day done in the first 5 minutes. And what we do on the one and done is we wait for the one. Here's a 1 minute chart of Adobe from Friday. We wait for the 1 minute bar to close. And as soon as the prior low breaks down on the 1 minute in the morning, only based on a news name, it works on some other names, it fails on some other names, but statistically, you only apply it to Newsbeat names. So the Newsbeat names we give you inside the room are very easy to follow. There's never any confusion. We're sitting there talking about it. We're sitting there talking how we're on top of it. I mean, you literally get to see it every day. Now, even though I said Adobe long here, ironically, we mentioned before the open that Adobe should be short, not long. So that was a little mistake there. But I mean, we even correct it, and we're talking about in the morning, and there's zero confusion if you're in the room. So we're looking to short Adobe, and on the 1 minute, it broke 256.08, and the best you could have done short term would have been 6 minutes later. It went from 256.08 to 252.15, $3.90 whatever cent. Let's call it $4. $4 drop in 6 minutes. And what happened is the puts exploded. I was out of everything around these levels. Like by this bar, I was out of my puts. And the puts I was watching went from like $1.50. I mean, they climbed over $4. They doubled, triple. I mean, I caught like I didn't catch 100% on any of them. I think I caught like a 50% because they move so much on a Friday. And the point is, so what you basically do is you look at this trade, you know what Mark Melnick does on the one and done, and you apply it. And it's not about showing you a working situation. Anybody can do that. It's about applying it to everything that you might be comfortable trading. You might look at Adobe, say, Mark, a $4 drop in Adobe in 6 minutes is not good for me. My puts would have went up 150% of value, but it's too quick. I like 5 minute charts, you might say. Then just cancel the strategy. You should never do these one and dones if you're not comfortable with it. Now, I don't know the name for other strategies. I know some rooms basically give you setups and say figure it out yourself. And I know some rooms actually map out exactly the strategy. And then other rooms are a little bit vague when it comes to that. But you should be able to apply it in any way you interpret it. If the guru or strategy that you're following should spell it out clearly, if they do not spell it out clearly, you need to interpret it the way you interpret it. Write it down on a piece of paper. Just literally talk about the strategy. Just make a simple Roman numeral column and you yes and no. And in my opinion, if you're not right over 70% of the time, you're going to be suffering psychological toxicity along the way. You're not going to be successful. I guess the point I'm trying to ask, if all these courses and strategies are so great at teaching people, why is the end result not making money? It seems to me like the majority of courses these days are meant to make you feel good. I mean, if you actually read the testimonials for courses, they're written right after somebody's finished taking the course before they actually go live and start trading off the information they learn. And then their testimonials shared, etched in stone to be displayed forever. It's almost like the Batmobile lights, like up in the sky. It's like etched in stone that somebody enjoyed a course and they use that, and then you join in, and then you like the course and you feel confident in it. Really just inflates you with confidence. It's almost like not that I've ever done it, but it's like cocaine. And it's just like you take some cocaine and all of a sudden you're just like, wow, I could take over the world. But then you don't realize that nothing really changed. It's just all in your mind. And then you lose money in the market because you never actually gave these strategies a chance. Now, here's the next part about it I'm going to tell you. Take on one strategy at a time. I'll give you an example. Steph Curry. You should see how he practices for his three-point shot. He's practicing his dribble nonstop for 8 hours. He's taking 2,000 three-point shots. He's running around track sprints moving side to side, moving because there's more to a 3 point shot than standing there unguarded and shooting it. He's practicing on the quickness of his release. He's practicing all these things from different angles because it's what makes his 3 point shot better. So, for example, let's say you wanted to swing names and you're having trouble doing it. What I would say is learn another strategy in which you can make money on. You don't have to apply every single strategy to be effective. When I trade throughout the day, excuse me, when I trade throughout the day, I could be looking at a plethora of strategies. I'm looking at the high one, the one and done, the high five, the know your limit strategy, the 821 curl, the bull flag breakout, the bear flag breakdown, breaking news, and I'm applying a myriad of different strategies because I am at the level in which I can trade it, but not all of you, ladies and gentlemen, are at that level in which you can actually trade it. So what I am encouraging you to do, what I'm trying to lift you up and tell you to do, is I am trying, and I implore you, and I beg of thee, for the sakes of thy P&L. If English doesn't work, I'll go to Old English. For thy P&L, that thou hast trieth one strategy and perfect it before you move on. Because when you're watching these gurus out there, myself very, very included, I have mastered all these things. I didn't think about it. Why are some people like, Mark, I do real good on the one and done. I got one email, and I'm just mentioning the numbers just to give you the mentality. Anonymous person, $1,200, dropped down to, he made like $180 by the end of the day. It was up 1,200 in the morning. And I'm like, look at your records. How about the other days? It's like, it's crazy. After the first 15 minutes, I just can't make money anymore. And I say, you think that's a problem? You think that's a problem? Just stick with the one strategy for now, master it, and then go back and every single strategy, no matter what it is, this, look at the chart. Put your eyes on the chart. Take every single stock in which you would have watched on that day and traded, and that you are able to find in the future somehow. Look at it and say, is this a good trade? Like it. So I'm showing you this now. I guarantee you there are people in my room who said, Mark, I would kill someone for this set. No pun intended, of course. You know, I could eat a horse for a strategy like this. Ugh, equine meat. Ugh, love horses. Anyway, point being is very simple. You need to look at this setup and you have to say, is this something I want to make money off of? I guarantee you, there's people in the room looking at the strategy and saying, Mark, that doesn't excite me. It's too quick. It's too this. It's too that. Mark, I know you're willing to help me with my setup and keyboard setup like nobody else out there on Wall Street, and you're trying to help set me up so I can do these things fast. But you know what? I like the 5 minute chart, Mark. This 1 minute is too quick for me. No problemo. Just simply go to any strategy, my strategy, his strategy, her strategy. Maybe you'll be good at one of my strategies, one of his strategies, and one of her strategies. Maybe you'll just be good at one of them. But you should put this to the test visually before you start throwing your hard earned money at it. And I am telling you, if you are not batting 7 out of 10, you are inevitably going to suffer psychological toxicity. If you do things in which you're not supposed to do, if you're in trades and you're like, oh, I shouldn't be in this trade, that's psychological toxicity. If you buy a trade and you're all anxious and you're all so nervous and you're tensing up, that's psychological toxicity. If you're afraid to enter a trade in the first place because it's moving too fast and something made you uncomfortable when you shouldn't have been uncomfortable, you are suffering from psychological toxicity. If you have lost 1 year of trading ever in your career as a trader, you are suffering psychological toxicity. If trading was a lot easier when you were much more ignorant and stupid to things, and I'm saying that endearingly, like I was ignorant and stupid. I couldn't read a chart. I didn't know all this analysis, these algorithmic trend lines. Are you kidding me? But I was still able to make it big for myself. Why? because I had no psychological toxicity in the market, you could have been an imbecile and made money in 1999. I'm not even sugarcoating it, okay? The market is much more difficult today than it was in the late 90s when we were trading it back then with the fraction system. But I am telling you now, with all that being said, just simply write down your success rate and your lose rate. And I beg of you, the market's not going anywhere. You'll be there next week, you'll be there next month, next year, 10 years, 100 years. I would bet on it. And I plan on it. Hopefully, my kids will continue my investment or we eat a pill that lets us live forever. Either way, whichever comes first, I am betting on it. I think it's a safe bet for you too to bet that the stock markets will be here. Take it one strategy at a time. Don't feel like you're missing out on anything. And I think you're going to be far ahead of the curve and you're going to have, most importantly, a true understanding of who you are as a trader. Most traders are not qualified to answer that question. If you came to me and said, Mark Melnick, who are you as a trader? I would just list it. Here's the strategies. I'm looking for breaking news flow. I'm looking for chatter. I'm looking for bull flags. I'm looking for bear flags. I'm looking for follow through names. I'm looking for algorithmic things. I'm looking fundamental and research. I would just list them, and that's who I am as a trader. But most traders, when you ask that question, they're not qualified to answer it. Most likely, you know, even me, even when I was a 15-year trader, I would say even then I wasn't really fully qualified to answer who I was as a trader. I could probably list parts of who I was as a trader, but the journey never was complete. It wasn't like you felt like this is where I have to be. Um, as I would now. Now I would be able to define it much better. But when you write these down and you see what would have worked and what would have failed for you, that is what's going to change you and make you understand that this is a strategy I could do. This is something that I want to make money in. Just remember that it is of utmost importance to define yourself as a trader, lest you risk hard earned money on unproven strategies and digging your psychological toxicity further. You want algo levels, don't you? I could see it. It's like you're giving me that eye. Like you want the algo levels. Here they are. They don't always hit, but when they do, they tend to offer a phenomenal risk reward. These levels don't always hit. I find good consistency in general, buying off support levels and shorting off the resistance levels in the market. These are tomorrow's levels today. And by the way, if you are part of the Newsbeat live room and you sign up for our free Twitter, which comes with your package at the moment, you get price alerts all the time when something is hitting. So intraday, if there's a price alert that one of the algo levels hit, we'll actually tweet it out to you. And we're very blessed to be able to offer you that service. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, again, make sure that you check your trades, and that way you'll never have a bad trade ever again. If something is working consistently for you, if it's something that makes sense for you, it's okay to make and it's okay to lose money on that idea. The truth is, there are certain trades out there which are not okay to make or lose money on. Buying a falling knife with no true support level just because you felt it went down too much might make you money 7 out of 10 times, but you're going to put yourself in those situations where you're going to lose a lot of money potentially if it keeps falling. Don't be silly. Don't be a fool. Don't be a dunce. Instead, be smart, be sharp, make sure you test your strategies ahead of time, and you're just one step closer to guaranteeing your consistency and success as a trader. Happy trading, make money. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the Newsbeat live trading broadcast. $49 for the first month in the link. Have a wonderful evening.